going to talk about chords. And what better way to demonstrate than playing Bach. So we're using two elements, a horizontal element and a vertical element. And the vertical is quite obvious, which is when you play down. So it's like a concept of a force. And if you use too much force, by pulling the strings or pressing too much, that was pressing by the way, pulling will be like dropping as well, doesn't produce good sound. And the other one is the horizontal, which is a loss of momentum. So while you play like the chord, and if you miss this momentum, let's say you play, if you miss that momentum you may crunch or just produce very pressed sound. And for that I will give you small exercise. You can try to play on two notes at the same time, and you should be able to produce good sound on any place of your bow. Like, and if you cannot do that, it means that you have a problem with the level of your bow. So you have to place the bow on both your strings, and I think very often we are just leveling the bow in the wrong way, and that's why we are producing crunchy sound. And very often the problem of the crunchy sound is because we are having a very tense hand and fingers. So the problem will be solved if you hold the bow very, very free, very light. And I believe in one of my previous videos I talked about the concept of holding only with the pinky and the thumb. And now I'm going to give you even more exercises about how to even release the thumb and just try to play like having the thumb here under. Press the bow even less when you're playing on two strings. Because there is a misconception that if you play on two more strings you have to press more to be able to produce a sound, but actually that is producing a very ugly sound. So as more you are relaxed and have less pressure, the better the sound will be. I'm going to give you 3 silent exercises to work on your balance of the bow, and that will contribute to a better chords. Because when something is balanced, you don't need to use so much force. You can just concentrate on doing the job, the musical job, and not the technical or even like the physical to hold the bow. So the first exercise is to try to hold the bow with your pinky and the thumb. So all of the other fingers are in the air, and just the pinky and the thumb is holding your bow. And think of them like one is up and one is down, balancing. And don't use any force, just very, very light and easy. The second one is to not use your thumb. So you should place the bow under the balance point and then just hold the bow, hold your thumb under the bow, like a cello hold, like this. And you should feel like how loose, how relaxed your hand and arm is. Because if you move a little bit more to the balance point, there is a big chance that your bow will just flip. So by holding it here, you will find the balance of your bow This is very helpful when you're breaking chords, like when you play, especially on the frog. So as looser you are there, as bigger chances is that it will be very smooth and very light. And as looser you are on your fingers, more smooth the change will be. The third exercise will be to add one more finger. So until now we had pinky and we worked with the thumb. And now we will add the index finger. And in this case, index finger is not going to press or do anything with the bow except just pulling it up when we play the chords. Also, you can try to have the bow just suspended above the strings, and the index finger is the one that is holding it up, actually pulling it up and down. So in this video I also want to mention the difference between playing downbow and upbow. So when you play downbow, you're pushing your arm down, right? And when you play upbow, you're like finding the right angle and then you fold the arm. It's just folding. It's the opposite motion. Many times when I play upbow, my sound is very weak, and I try to understand what is going on. Why am I producing this weak sound, except that I'm on the lighter part of the bow? But what else? So I found out that the level of my bow is not correct. So I'm not setting the bow at the two strings, and I'm not leveling in a good way. So next thing is, how do we make the connections of the chords? So usually we play two, and then we gradually go to the next two. And if you have a very sudden movement in that chord, you are most likely going to have a scratchy sound. And that's most likely because you are pressing too much, holding too much, like I said before, but also because we are using too little bow in the beginning. So press and too little bow is producing ugly sound. So so to try to avoid that, play a little bit more in the beginning, like on G and D string. And then try gradually to shrink the bow to less. And of course the pressure needs to be much less. So and then you suddenly have a lot of bow to use on the upper strings. Of course it's important that the G and D is going to be powerful and we have a lot of sound, but we also need the upper strings to sound beautiful when we want to do the vibrato there, and that's why it's important to learn this technique, to just play less bow and much less pressure. And last, I want to talk about the connection between the left and the right hand. What we do on our left hand, of course, affects our right hand and vice versa. So how do we prepare the hands? How do we do this connection between left and right hand? And usually is the coordination, because if you play a chord and your left hand is not ready with the chord here, you're not going to get a nice sound, and most likely it's going to sound untuned. So you should work on a very, very fast change in your left hand, and then you play the chord. So for example, if you play chaconne, let's say you play from, let me see, I'll find some nice chords here. So it's and then comes the next one. And they're actually down and up. So you have to be very prepared in this hand, you need to be ready. If you want to make an exercise of it, you could just stop before you find the chord and then play it. So it will sound like, find the chord, find the fingers, find the fingers, and then eventually you can play faster and faster. To make it easier, you can just play pizzicato, so then you disconnect both hands, you disconnect left and the right hand, and you train only on the putting the correct fingers. So it will be, of course you should be in tune. There is so much more about chords, but I don't want to make this video too long, so if you have questions and you have more ideas about how to play chords, please let me know. Otherwise, like usual, please subscribe if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.